Hi guys, this is Sammy. I'm doing the Chapter 4 Test Yourself assessment. So this one was kind of hard for me because I feel like overall my trait as a person is that I'm an empathetic listener. So I tend to lean on the emotional side of things and be guided by more of my emotions than anything. So um, I think reading afterwards, it said that the only wrong answers are 1 and 5. So for number one, I put two and then in parentheses one, um, which was I listen to what the speaker is saying and feeling. I try to feel what the speaker feels. I feel like I do that more than anything. Um, I feel like maybe that's what we need more as like a country right now is just trying to be empathetic, and even if you don't agree with someone in the message, just listening and trying to put yourselves in other people's shoes sometimes. Um, I know that's not like the right way, but for me, I feel like that's something I always strive to do. And obviously, like I'm not always successful, but that is something I do try to do in every communication I have, especially if it's something I disagree with or I wouldn't openly support myself. I do try to be empathetic. Um, Number two, I put to four, which four, I have two fours and like a couple threes. Two, I put 3 to 4. I was in between, but um, I listen objectively. I focus on the logic of the ideas rather than on the emotional meaning of the message. Again, being an empathetic listener by trait, I tend to focus more on the emotions behind it. Even if I do pick up on the logical side of the message, I'm still going to put more weight on the emotional side of it. So, again, that was a 4 for me. Um, I also did 4 for number 4, which was I listen critically, evaluating the speaker and what the speaker is saying. Um, I do listen critically. I understand the definition of that, but I feel maybe sometimes I'm a little more floaty and I don't think as critically about the actual speaker, maybe the message, but not the speaker itself. Um, I did number 3. I picked 3 for 5, 7, and 8. So that's I listen to the literal meanings that a speaker communicates. I don't look too deeply into hidden meanings. Um, 7 is I listen actively, communicate acceptance of the speaker, and prompt the speaker to further explore his or her thoughts. And 8 is I listen without active involvement. I generally remain silent and take in what the other person is saying. Um, and then 3 and 6 were twos, which is I listen without judging the speaker. And 6 is I look for the hidden meanings. The meanings are revealed by subtle verbal or nonverbal cues. I feel like those are pretty self-explanatory, as so I picked those now that I've kind of explained. Looking ahead to how like I want to possibly better myself as a communicator, probably maybe bringing more of logic into it and being a more um, leveled listener and not always leaning towards the empathetic side or the emotional side of things and taking in more of a logic side, thinking more critically about the speaker and the message as opposed to just being like, oh, I wonder how they feel, and always being empathetic. That being my first go to of listening. So, yeah, I think that I really like this assessment. I think it forced me out of my comfort zone a little bit and to kind of learn a little more about how I communicate with others. And so I really liked it. See you next week.